Today her daughter is going to the first grade. Sophia, wearing large dark sunglasses that covered half of her face, blended in with the parents and relatives of the students. At first, she spotted her ex-husband Vladimir in the crowd. Then, following his gaze, she found her daughter in the lineup of first graders. Ah, there she was, undoubtedly the most beautiful, with big white bows. She looks so much like me, Sophia thought. Sophia hadn't seen her daughter for 3 years. 3 years. How many events had occurred in this relatively short period? Sophia had always been the most beautiful girl in school. She wasn't very good at studying, nor did she like the mandatory school subjects. But thanks to her irresistible appearance, she was always in the spotlight. Beautiful thick, slightly red hair, big blue eyes, soft skin, full lips, a direct path to popularity. In her senior year, she met Vladimir. He was 2 years older, studying at the university. Love sparked and blazed so intensely that Romeo and Juliet would take a back seat. Sophia finished school, and they got married. Vladimir was studying and working. The young couple lived in a one-room apartment left by Vladimir's grandmother. He pampered Sophia, carrying her on his hands, dusting her off, and when he found out she was pregnant, he spoiled her even more, fulfilling her every whim. A year after the wedding, their daughter Alice was born. Taking care of the child and mandatory household chores soon began to irritate Sophia. Gradually, the irritation transferred to her husband. They lived together for 5 years. Sophia never worked a day and had no desire to work in the future. She often stared at herself in the mirror. Beautiful and slim, she believed she was born for a better life. One day Sophia realized she no longer loved Vladimir. All feelings for him had cooled. She was 22 years old and already tired of family life. She wanted a beautiful, luxurious life for herself and her daughter. Her husband couldn't provide such a life for them. At that moment, Sophia met Gleb on a dating site. He had emigrated with his parents to Canada. Gleb spoke Russian fluently. He had his own business, a network of hotels for tourists worldwide. At first, Sophia communicated with him secretly from her husband. Then they started talking on Skype. Sophia began to lead a double life. She was a caring mother, a loving wife, but she constantly dreamed of meeting Gleb and starting a new life with her wealthy lover. And now her dream was beginning to come true. Gleb came to visit her. Sophia met him at the airport. They went to a hotel where he booked a luxury suite. For 2 days, Sophia didn't leave the room. She turned off her phone and didn't think about anything other than her otherworldly love. 2 days later, Gleb said he was going back home and was ready to take Sophia as his bride. "What about our daughter?" asked Sophia. "It won't be possible to take the daughter now. Your husband is unlikely to agree to her departure, and without his consent, it's impossible." "We'll think about it later and come up with something," Gleb promised. Sophia returned home for her documents. Gleb forbade her from taking anything with her, promising to buy everything new. At home, Vladimir, pale and emaciated, was overjoyed to see her. He had already called all hospitals and morgues, intending to file a police report. "I'm sorry, but I'm leaving you. I've fallen in love with someone else. If you give me permission to take our daughter abroad, I'll take her with me now. If not, I'll come back for her later," Sophia explained her absence. Vladimir fell to his knees. He kissed her feet, begged her to reconsider, but his pitiful appearance only strengthened Sophia's conviction in the correctness of her decision. Of course, he didn't give consent for their daughter to leave. On the plane, Gleb told Sophia that he needed to stop by an Islamic country to check on his hotels. They were greeted at the hotel, taken to their room, and served champagne and a light breakfast. Gleb poured champagne into glasses and solemnly proposed a toast to a new life. After drinking the champagne, everything started spinning before Sophia's eyes, and she fell into darkness. That's where the fairy tale ended, and the nightmare began. I cannot and will not describe in detail what happened next. In short, the following occurred. Sophia woke up in a small dark room without a phone or documents. 3 Slavic guys came in and congratulated her on starting a new job. Then they escorted her to the boss's office. The boss, an elderly man of Southern blood, informed her that from this day on, she worked for him. "I hope you guessed who you're working for," he clarified, cynically smirking. Later, Sophia learned that her unparalleled Gleb was a courier. He supplied beautiful girls to specialized hotels. Girls were lured under the guise of work or, as in her case, a new beautiful life. Then they were sold by this boss. "I'm interested in junkies and rhinestone girls. Clean and beautiful, even if married, are valued much higher," he explained. Sophia tried to scream, to protest, but she was warned that if she refused to work, tried to escape, it would only get worse. "They have people everywhere. They will find and kidnap her daughter." The boss gave her a phone for 5 minutes and forced her to call her husband, telling him that she had arrived safely and was happy with her new chosen one. Vladimir forbade her from calling again and advised her to forget about them forever. Then the boss added that if Sophia was obedient and worked well, she would receive hefty bonuses. For Sophia, hell began. During her work, she was subjected to sterilization, so the owner would be calmer, less trouble. A miracle happened 2 years later. Sophia managed to escape. Her next client turned out to be a compatriot, a middle-aged man. A positive man, alas. Positive men also occasionally visit such establishments. He looked at her so sympathetically that Sophia unexpectedly told him about her captivity. He helped her escape and then took her to his embassy. At the embassy, she learned that her savior was a former military man. Her passport was restored. Sophia had the money she had saved over the past year and a half, and she returned home. Other people were living in their apartment. Later, Sophia learned that her husband had declared her missing. He sold that apartment and bought a bigger one. Her parents got into an accident, her father didn't survive, and her mother was taken in by Vladimir. She helps raise Alice. Sophia learned all this from her husband when she tracked him down. They met at a cafe. He didn't even say hello, just asked her what she wanted from him. Sophia cried and told him about her adventures. But she didn't see a hint of sympathy in his eyes, only cold contempt. "I want to see my daughter, and by law, I have that right," Sophia said. Vladimir smirked and replied that he would take her to court, then slammed a photo on the table. In retaliation for her escape, the boss sent her husband explicit photos of her taken during meetings with clients. He really did have his people everywhere. Her husband threatened to show them to Sophia's mother, and with her already barely walking after the accident, heart problems had begun. Sophia tried to repair her relationship with her mother. "Don't you dare come near your daughter. You abandoned her. Alice was told that you were dead. Don't you dare come back to life," her mother said. The only thing her mother did for her was give her the keys to the apartment and promised to transfer it to her as a gift so Sophia wouldn't become homeless. Sophia didn't become homeless. She went through rehabilitation, stayed in the hospital. Then in a sanatorium, visited a psychologist. It was a good thing she had money. She filed a report with the police. She was assured that the case would be handed over to Interpol, but hopes of catching the criminals were slim. Sophia completed makeup courses and got a job at a beauty salon. Of course, for now, she's just a small fry in the salon, but she enjoys her work. Sophia is only 25, but sometimes she feels like an ancient old woman. Nothing brings her joy. She's tired and feels like there will never be anything good in life anymore. Sophia looked at Alice, and tears rolled down her cheeks. The hour of reckoning had come. What could be scarier than this? To see her daughter and not be able to approach her. Let Alice believe that her kind, caring mother died, not that she ran away with a lover. Her daughter should never know the nightmare her mother lived in and what her mother did, albeit unwillingly. I'll come to the school gates and watch her from afar. Who knows, maybe someday when she grows up, we'll talk. She'll understand and forgive me. That's what Sophia thought. And she blamed only herself for everything, her own foolishness and selfishness.